Good morning, Karen Lovely here. It's been a while. I've been super busy with way too much overwhelming prosperity, but that's the name of the game. Wouldn't want it any other way. All right, this morning we are talking about passion, persistence, paying our dues, prosperity. This, not just paying our dues, prosperity, possibility. It's never too late. So much abundance and prosperity here on so many levels that I'm blown away, not to mention the thing that I absolutely believe more than anything in achieving our dreams is the moment we say, no, doesn't matter, we're moved on. It's when we least expect it that the biggest, best, incredible prosperity and dreams come true happen in real life and over and over and over again. I have done this from so many different angles of my life that it blows my mind. And that said, I have my friend who was on my podcast a couple years ago, Zach Penprase, who came from independent professional baseball. And he's going to share his what's the word? I'm like speechless. His is like beyond belief prosperity. That said, good morning, Zach. How are you?
Morning, Karen. I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while. Lots been happening. Let's start with quickly. You had a baby. Woo!
I did have a baby little girl named Veda.
Yeah.
And she's already going to be 14 months. So
Wow.
We got to talk about months now. Before she's 2 years old, you talk about months. And then once she's 2, you can say 2, 2.5, 3, then you can stop talking about the months. But she's about 14 months.
Right.
And, I mean, geez, it's gone by too fast already. So when parents say it goes by too fast, I totally understand. And there's nothing like the love of your own kid. It's wild to think that all you want to do is just squeeze them all day and do nothing else.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I always say, oh my God, they're so cute. I want to squeeze their guts out. Like a stuffed animal. You just want to squeeze them. Oh.
But then there'd be nothing left. So
I know, but it's that feeling. Well, it's like that much passion. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's something that I experienced. Maybe. Yeah, a few pet friends are the same. You're like, they're just so cute. Ooh.
Yeah, pet's going to give you the similar feeling for sure.
Yeah, the squishy feeling. All right, that said, okay, so you're 4 years retired out of independent baseball. You and I met through elite mental performance training. And we did our podcast then, and so you have a baby, of course, your amazing wife, Sheena, we haven't talked in a while, and then out of the blue, I get this text saying that you're going to the 2020 Olympics for baseball, and I'm like, what? Like, what was, hello? Like, when were you even, first of all, you weren't even playing baseball, like we had talked about that, so go ahead, tell me, give us the background story.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we talked, we were dancing every Tuesday morning, I believe.
Right.
And I was completely done with baseball. I wanted to help people with their journey into making it into, whatever profession it was. Really what it's come down to is, I know so much about the game of baseball that I can pick it up and play whenever I want. So I had been retired for 4 years, and I was just on this list, I guess, for Team Israel. Mm-hmm. And being that my mom and my grandparents are Jewish, they have this thing called the Law of Return, where you can go back and make what's called Aliyah, which is like your birthright return home. So you can go home and become a Israel citizen, begin to work there and stuff like that. I didn't do all the working. I went and got my citizenship and began to play baseball for Team Israel.
Oh my God.
And it was just one of those things where they needed a guy, they needed a shortstop, they needed veteran leadership, and they asked me if I wanted to play. And my first reaction was, I just had a baby. We had just recently moved. We actually moved right next door to my brother and his wife and 3 kids the day that my daughter was born.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't plan it like that. She came 8 days early. We had planned to move in, give ourselves a week, and she came early. So all of that was thrown into my bucket all at once. And about 3 months into my daughter being born, they asked me if I wanted to travel the world and try to qualify for the Olympics. And I said, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm trying to build my own business. I want to help people with their career. And I feel like I'm too busy.
Wow.
And so I kind of just let it go. And luckily they didn't find anybody for about 6 weeks. So my wife, I thought about it for a few weeks. Another few weeks go by. My wife goes, what's going on with the Team Israel thing? And I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't really want to get back in shape. I don't want to put my business on hold. We got stuff going. And she's like, what are you talking about? This is for the Olympics. And something right then when she looked at me and kind of looked at me like, are you a moron? Like, why would you pass this opportunity up? And something clicked in my head, and I guess she gave me a vision of playing in the Olympics. And from then on, like, I called pretty much every day to the manager saying, I'm in. I want in. And it was a couple weeks before we actually talked on the phone. So a few weeks go by, talking on the phone, and he's like, sounds like you're ready. Let's get you signed up and let's get some paperwork going. So it took a couple months of paperwork and a couple months of planning for me to go to Israel and actually get my citizenship. So that was it. When I was in Israel, I talked to the manager. I was like, what's my role on this whole thing? And he said, what do you mean? You're the shortstop. You're the starting shortstop. And I was like, wow, like just like that, And,
yeah. Oh, my God.
It was time to get in shape. So I got in shape, and we went to – that was about in April when I went to Israel. Mm-hmm. And then in what month is it? I believe in July. Yeah, the first week in July, we went to Bulgaria and played our first tournament. And we went 6-0 in that tournament.
Wow.
And when I was there, there was a moment in probably the second game. So the first game was kind of like excitement. I was back playing ball again. It was like riding a bike,
Yep.
I had played for so long, and it was, you put so many hours into something that you can pick it up right away. And there was some bit of timing as far as, seeing pitches and getting my swing back in down in timing, and just understanding the speed of the game again. But, like, I caught on quick. And the second game rolls around, and I kind of realized, like, what I was actually doing. And there was just this extreme feeling of gratitude that took over. And I remember it was in the 5th inning of that second game of that Bulgaria tournament. I was just on the field crying. And
wow.
It wasn't like a weeping. It was just kind of like tears rolling down my face. And it was so much joy and excitement. And like I said, it was that feeling of gratitude. And when that feeling of gratitude, like pure gratitude, takes over your body, it's, man, like, I know there's listeners out there that have experienced it. And, man, like, I just started crying. And when I came, the third out was made, I ran into the dugout, and I was just kind of sitting there. And nobody had even recognized it, that I had been crying. It was a perfect moment for myself.
Right.
It was nobody came over and was like, "Are you all right?" No, it was just like nobody had recognized it. I just sat there on the bench, and I was able to sit with my gratitude for a few moments. And it was, man, like, I'll always remember that moment of that 5th inning when I was just overwhelmed. I wouldn't say overwhelmed. I was just almost like something took over and was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, just appreciate this moment and be there. So,
wow. Okay, let's stay
That
here.
was kind of the start of the story.
Yeah. Okay, I got to tell you, I'm all about the Olympic athletes. I mean, there's nothing better. And the reason why is the training that goes in to even qualify for the Olympics, but to even have those hopes, and it starts as a child. And then I got to be honest, I have trouble watching the Olympics because I bawl my eyes out the entire time. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't even watch. Like, I'm sobbing. for what it took. And the reason why it's above everything, first of all, it's the best of the best in the world. So it's a global forum. And then there's no money. There's no guarantee of money. There's no guarantee of sponsorship. It's never, ever about the money. As a matter of fact, the athletes have to work jobs, several jobs, get help, scholarships, whatever. The Olympic Committee has to kick in. You got to raise money, as you know. And then some of the events like the suicide bobsledding things, a lot of the events, even gymnastics, there's nothing beyond, the Olympics in sports, right? Like there's nothing, you don't just go to the Olympics and go, oh, good, I have a career after this and I can go into the NFL or Major League Baseball. No, it's not like that. On top of the fact, they needed veteran leadership. We're going to talk about that, but this whole emotional aspect of it, it's like an overwhelm of joy. And thinking back now, Zach, isn't it like everything, all those years since you were a kid? Didn't you start at like 6 years old playing baseball?
5,
Yeah, 5. Oh, adorbs, But right?
The tiny squishy 5-year-old kid you want to squeeze?
Yeah, you want to squeeze his guts out. He's so cute with his little cleats and his little mitt, like the baby mitt. That kills me. And the little bat, you're like, oh, look at the little uniform, and the little helmet. All those years, everything that you've worked so hard for and trained so hard for, in retrospect, is that part of it too? Like paying your dues has like been so worth it? Do you think is that part of the emotion, I guess, is the question. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. I guess it could all be something built up from there.
Well, look, you said I didn't want to get in shape. That's a telltale sign that something was going on subconsciously. If you know what I'm saying? Like if we dig a little deeper here.
I didn't. I mean, I know what it takes to get in shape, and it was only for a 6-game little tournament. So it could have our dreams and hopes could have ended there. And come to find out, we went to Bulgaria, then we went to Lithuania, then we go to Germany, then we go to Italy, and Italy was the final that was our final chance. You had to win in Italy in order to qualify for the Olympics. Only one team came out of that. So
wow.
I kind of, as I realized, okay, I'm committed to this thing, and that's what it's really about, like the commitment. So I didn't really know what it was going to take. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was. I don't know my teammates. I didn't know anything. I just knew that I had an opportunity to play in the Olympics. And as a baseball player, I mean, you talk about like the payment and you talk about stuff like that. And I think the Olympics, for hundreds of years has been like this thing where it's these sports that, like you said, don't carry on. They don't, the skeleton, you're not going to go professional in the skeleton. You're doing it strictly for that gold medal or, you're strictly for that that feeling of like you achieve something and then, all right, here you go back to your regular job again. And I know there are some sports in the Olympics, like, the basketball players, they go and some of those guys are NBA stars, and I don't even know if they stay in Olympic Village. I've heard they stay somewhere else, like on a yacht or something like that. And, they do go back to their $20 million, $25 million, contracts. And so,
but very few do that. Like
very few do that.
The elite of the elite.
For the people that are doing those sports, and for like me, I don't have that $25 million contract. I just have that medal that I'm going for, and buying into that. And my friend told me, I'd always had this dream from when I was 5. You talk about being when I was 5 and paying my dues from when I was 5 years old. I always had this dream of this vision. I've never had a vision of playing the Olympics, but I've always had this vision of playing in the white and blue Dodger uniform in Dodger Stadium in front of my family and friends. And when I qualified, one of my best friends had texted me and said, "Hey man, I know it's not something you dreamed of. You've always dreamed and saw yourself playing in Dodger Stadium in the blue and white. Maybe this is a different blue and white because Israel's blue and white. Maybe this is what you had seen your whole life of playing in front of this, in this big stadium in front of your family and friends on the big stage And maybe it wasn't about, like, you know, he even said, like, you never played for the money. You always played because you loved the game, you knew you were good, and you just wanted to perform and show off in front of your family and friends. And maybe this is really what the blue and white is all about in your visions and your dreams.
Oh, so my God, that's deep.
That was kind of a moment that was like, wow, I worked all that time and all those years, and like you said, pay your dues for that. Yeah. And that kind of hit me again. So when it was amazing how many people followed me and how many people watched my games. And then to get messages like that after the fact that you qualify for the Olympics was, like you said, it's deep. And it's deep. Yeah.
And okay, so the colors are blue and white, like mostly white and a little blue for Team Israel?
It's mostly blue.
Okay, and white, but it's still blue and white, that same royal blue. Dodger blue?
Yeah, Dodger blue. I mean, all my teams right now, my wife is from Toronto, so we like the Maple Leafs. They're blue and white. Huh. So it's a Dodger blue, it's a Maple Leaf blue. It's a blue thing, I guess. And it's something I've always seen in my visions. You know, I do my visualizations growing up and seeing myself playing in Dodger Stadium, but maybe this is the opportunity playing in, I believe we're playing in Yokohama Stadium in Tokyo.
Oh my God.
And it's a huge stadium as well. So I think it holds maybe 30 to 35,000 people, and it just sounds like an amazing experience. I'm just
Well, it makes Major League Baseball
part of it.
It makes Major League Baseball piddly from my point of view. Do you know what I'm saying? This is global. I mean, to be in all those different countries, but that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Not to.
That's true. My mom. Yep. That was one thing my mom kept saying. Was like, "This is the world. Like, you're on the world stage. Like, this is you're doing it." So, I never understood the concept of paying dues when I was, you know, coming through as a rookie and stuff like that in professional baseball. I never, even in college, you know, it was like, all the vets would be like, "Oh, you rookies, you freshmen, you're taking all the equipment, blah, 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 all that stuff." And I would almost kind of like fight it and resist it and say, you know, like, what's the deal with you guys? Like, why are you guys so like salty about this? Why are we all like, why can't we all just pay our dues together, you know? Mm-hmm. And I never understood that concept. And I don't know if I still completely do. Mm-hmm. But it is one of those things where you got to do it.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're the vet on the team. It doesn't matter if you're the rookie on the team. You have to pay your dues. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, let's stay here because this is what stops most people.
Yeah.
Is paying our dues. And I'm, you know, I totally can relate to that, but it's also something that I've grown to accept about my life in the big scheme of life, you know? And we talk about a lot of the analogies that I use in coaching is I train Olympians for life, you know, that Olympic mindset, which is pure commitment and passion. Isn't that true, Zach? I mean, that's you through and
through.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's talent, but we know that it's about the practice. There might be people a little more talented, but the studies show that that's not necessarily 100% true. And you're also that. I mean, all those years you put in, like you said, it was like riding a bicycle. So, how long did it take you to get back in shape, so to speak? The thing you didn't want to do, the easiest thing you didn't want to do. That's why I don't quite buy it, but whatever, you know.
It was a continued thing. I mean, it was a couple of months of getting back in the cage and swinging. I mean, it's not just like the running or anything like that. Like, there's also baseball shape, you know?
Yeah.
There's also the swinging, the throwing, little quick movements. And I'm not sure I was even completely in great shape when I went to Bulgaria. I ended up getting hurt and playing through a minor injury when I was out there. So it took a couple months. I would say like 3 months of like, there was a period there for a solid month where I was waking up to start getting in shape. I was waking up at 5 a.m. just to go for like a 5 to 10 minute run, you know, around my block. And so that was kind of like how I started. That first week was like, okay, every day I'm just going to run for 5 to 10 minutes around my block, and that'll start my day. And then after work, I'll go to the gym, I'll get my workout in, and then after that, I'll actually hit and throw. So I was throwing into a net. I was hitting on my own. I had a friend that was going to play for Team Italy that he was, he was kind of like my workout partner. And so, I mean, I'm talking about like waking up at 5, going for my run, getting a small little workout in with my body weight, and then going to work, working construction with my dad, then going to baseball practice or giving lessons until about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and then getting my workout in, getting my hitting, getting my throwing, and not getting home till 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I knew that grind was going to happen because of my real jobs you talk about Olympians have.
Yep.
And so that's not just Olympians. That's many other people in life that you do things that you don't get paid for. You do things out of passion and commitment. You commit to something, and that's what it is. But I think people do get caught up in the commitment. And I talk about people want to go on these vacations, or they want to go here, they want to go there, and they want to wait till the last minute to try to figure out how to get everything done. When really, like, if you just commit to it and you just book that flight and you book that hotel, you're going to figure out how to get there. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the way I live life is I commit to something and I go. So actually, my hardest part is the same thing as every other human being, is the commitment. But I know when I commit, I'm fully in. I dive head first, and that's kind of what it takes. So and paying your dues. Like I've been the oldest guy on the team. I've been the youngest guy on the team, and it's not just paying your dues as a rookie. You have to pay your dues as a veteran as well. There's different dues that you have to pay throughout your whole life. Like, people think once you get to a certain status, that's it. You're done paying your dues. No, like, you have to continue to pay those dues. You have to become that veteran leadership that somebody needs, and you have to learn how to do that as well. You have to pay your dues on that end as well. So the commitment to every stage, every step in whatever you're doing really takes all of that. Yeah.
I mean, out of anything, this is the biggest prosperous aspect in this whole thing for me. Is because that's where I'm confronted the most, is paying more dues. As I hit the next stream and the next stream, I'm like, crap, there's more dues to pay. Exactly.
You get tired of it.
I know. I'm like, God, why do I have to have such huge dreams? This is exhausting me. Then I think all the dues that I've paid are cashing in now, just like you. Do you understand?
Totally.
It's like investment. And then I can't stress enough this aspect of, you knew there's the list. When did you put your name on the list? Shortly after you retired, do you think? Think back now. When did you get on the list for Israel? Can you?
I mean, if you want to talk spiritually and get super deep, I've always been on the list, Karen. No,
I know, right? Dude. Oh, man, that's deep, dude. Right? Yeah.
It was, I don't know, like, the Jewish baseball community is amazing. And honestly, when I first got drafted, that's when letters and, like, baseball cards and just even like little postcards came into my locker saying, we collect Jewish baseball players' autographs. That's all we collect is Jewish baseball players' memorabilia. And so you start getting that as soon as you become a professional baseball player. Oh. And so I wouldn't say I'm on the list at that point, but people know. And then come to the end of my career a little bit, I got interviewed by one of the Jewish baseball news writers. And we were in St. Paul in the dugout, and it was my last year. I knew in my head it was my last year.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, hey, look, like, this is awesome. Thanks for coming and interviewing me, and I appreciate this. Is there, like, a national team, or is there any way I can be involved in, like, Israel with baseball, or is there anything that I can do to be involved with baseball over there? And he was like, well, I don't know. I know there's a national team. And he's like, are you interested in playing? I was like, I'm interested in just being involved. I would love to play on the, Israel national team if that's a possibility. He's like, I know the president. So let me give him a call and get your name on the list. And I was like, oh, there's a list? He's like, yeah, there's a list of players that, they use from time to time. I was like, okay, cool. And that was kind of it. And then the following year, the World Baseball Classic, they were looking for guys to play in the World Baseball Classic, and the manager of that team had given me a call and said, "Are you still playing?" And I was like, "No, I retired last year, but I can still be ready. You know, it's only been 6 months, 6 to 8 months since I haven't seen a pitch." So he was like, "Okay, get ready." And I got like my measurements for my uniform and everything like that. And then like a month before they made kind of the final cuts, he called me and was like, "You know, we're taking this other guy. He's currently playing, so he's going to be in better, you know, baseball shape." And I was like, "Cool, you know, no problem." I wasn't thinking anything of it. And then, so the difference between the World Baseball Classic and the Olympics is all you had to do was qualify for citizenship to be on that team. For the Olympics, you actually had to go and become a citizen of Israel. And so that was a little bit of risk as well, you know, like taking that risk to go be a citizen of a place of basically what you're calling like your homeland, but you've never been there. You don't know any ties. So people think it's kind of like we got recruited and they just got these guys and like, oh, we're just going to get them citizenship and that's kind of cheating or whatever it is. But I mean, there's some risk in us going and doing that. There's, you know, my future children are not, I wouldn't say affected, but that does sort of play into their life. You know, I have to think about all of that kind of stuff. And that's where prosperity in my life comes in, where I totally believe, you know, in prosperity, they talk about like good fortune. Right. And some people would think like good luck. They're like, oh, you just have good luck in your life. And I'm a huge believer in creating your own luck. I mean, honestly, you can't tell me that I'm lucky. I went from California to go to play in Mississippi at a school that was built on a cotton field, and to go there from California, be completely culture shocked, play there, prove myself, get drafted, you know, sign a contract to go play professional baseball, go somewhere else, and then take a chance in Fargo. And this is all me just taking risk. And so I committed to myself that like I was going to create my own prosperity per se, because people say I'm lucky all the time. They say, you know, I'm lucky that I found Sheena, my wife. And I don't believe it. I mean, I found her. We always have this joke that we found love in a hopeless place. Like, we went to the middle of Mississippi to find each other. And so like, it's prosperity isn't just something that you come across. It's not a good fortune that it just falls into your lap. Like, you create it by taking risks, by committing to yourself and freaking working your ass off in something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah. Okay. Amen. So, and we talked about you and Sheena. You know, I asked you the deeper questions. It wasn't love at first sight with Sheena.
No, that took some work as well.
Exactly. Right. So it's not like, oh, this whole luck, I'm right there with you. Like luck. No, I wasn't.
I hear a lot in like speeches at weddings, like, oh, the first time I met her, I knew she was the one. Yeah. That wasn't necessarily the case. I mean, she slept in my bed for, I don't know, 2 months before we even like became a couple. And I'm not talking about sleeping like the nowadays way of saying we slept with each other. It's like, no, half of the bed was hers, half the bed was mine. Like, we didn't touch each other. It was nothing. It was, she needed a place to stay and I needed a place to sleep, and that was it. So like, we were just sharing a bed, sharing a room. Yeah, like roommates. And so like friends. Yeah, like friends and roommates. I don't even know if we were really friends at that point. I think we became friends through those conversations that we had, you know, late at night, and actually building that good fortune. People say, "Oh, you're lucky you found her." Okay, I'll take that. Like, if that's what it is, then I'll take that.
Yeah, and I just got to tell you, you know, when people see my rants, they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky." I just want to swack them. There ain't no luck here. That was torture. I was throwing up. I was so stressed. You know, that was before all my coaching stuff. You know?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, there ain't no luck here. It was, I had to travel into South Central to get my first real estate deal with a bodyguard friend of mine. I mean, this is not, my first deal, you know? And I was like, they said, Karen, don't go past, don't go east of Adams. It's dangerous. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, but the deal was there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going in. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking about risks. Yeah. And then I call my friend who's like Mr. Kickboxer. I'm like, hey, Robert, you want to come with me to South Central?
Paying your dues.
Paying my dues, man. And it was predominantly black, African American. Of course, I could fit in with my hip hop thing. But, you know.
You start dancing?
What?
You just start dancing?
Yeah, I just started dancing, like, sup, hey. No, and they accepted me. No, because I'm black really inside. But, I mean, they said, no, don't go, you know. And I was just this little bebopping cheerleader type, you know, working at Gold's Gym. And I'm traveling into an area, I had no idea. But we get that this is the risk. Like, you going from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, and all these different countries and the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. But you talked about something. Yeah, there's no such thing as luck. This is everything to do with you showing up. You know, there's no luck in getting drafted to pro baseball. There's no luck. It's just showing up and practicing. Yes? And having that attitude. The thing I know about you, you know, of course, I met you after the baseball thing, where you were already retired, but your attitude has always been like, blah, 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 you know? I mean, not that intense, because I'm very intense. You know, I'm like, oh, get out of my way, you know? I got things to do, people to see, places to go. I'm much better now, thanks to the coaching stuff for myself, but this has always been your attitude since you were a kid, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that idea of flow. You know, I got derailed a little bit. You know, I've talked about that in the last podcast. We talked about what happened when I was 12, when I kind of got death threats. And I think there was a little derailment there where I kind of stepped out of flow. And I'm talking about when I'm 12, so I don't even know the idea of flow. But I find that what you're talking about, this like idea of me just kind of like showing up.
Yeah.
And it's without expectations.
Uh-huh.
I prepare myself. I have a thing that I say, you know, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I'm constantly preparing myself, constantly priming myself for whatever it is. And then all I got to do is show up without expectations. And like, that's when the magic happens. So yeah, there's also nothing wrong with the way you're doing it. And that's how you show up for your flow, is doing that. And also you understand that it can be a little stressful at times. And then something comes about that you don't even know where it came from. And you're like, man, why was I stressing so much? And I do the same thing. You know, from time to time, I stress myself out. I think that I have some expectations of how it's going to go. And next thing you know, it's like, what was I even doing? Why was I even worrying about that? Why was I spending worry dollars on that? But it's the idea of just kind of going with the flow. That's what it is. So I'm like, oh, cool, opportunity here. I guess I'm going to take that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's another opportunity. So I find that if you're expecting, or you're really focused on one little thing, you can't see the other opportunities around you. So you get like this tunnel vision of like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. And then there's really like this gold right next to you, but you can't see it because you're so focused on this one goal that may not even be the correct thing. So
yeah. Well, now that I'm thinking as you're speaking, so many great nuggets here. I mean, you're saying so many great things.
Too many.
I know, but this is what it takes, you know? And I realized when I was a kid, I had that Olympic mindset. You know, I'm riding horses and training, and that's a dangerous sport, right? I'm 7 years old, going to the barn by myself with my check in hand that I got from my mom, and she never came with me. I was just doing it by myself. I was very intense, though. I had that little, like, intensity about me. And even when I was a professional dancer, you know, I was too intense for my own good. If I had been like more like do 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 la 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 la, you know, that mentality we're kind of kidding about, but it's real, which I have now because of all my training that I've trained myself in my mindset and my heart set, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm dancing better today than when I was professional, and I'm having way more fun. As a matter of fact, Zach, I have more of yours. You had it more natural, like da 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 kind of thing. I have that now, and I have more opportunities dancing than I know what to do with. So, right? Like
that's
I have,
funny. That's funny.
Isn't it? It's ironic.
It is.
Yes.
Because I tell people I feel like I I feel like I'm a better player now after 4 years of being retired than I was, when I was 20 something. I've lost a few steps. I've lost a little bit of speed, so I don't steal bases quite like I did. But like, just the way that I can just flow into the game is different. So yeah, that's a good point. That you're just dancing your ass off way better than you ever did.
Not only that, it's brought me opportunities similar. Not like I'm traveling country, but I get to be in these very elite circles. That there are a lot of highly influential people and celebrities, and they're one after another approach me going, I saw you dancing over there. I wish I could be more like you. Can't name names. I can, I'll tell you offline, Zach, because you have that privilege. But, I have I have these icons just going, oh, I wish I could, dance like that. And I'm not even really dancing. I'm just like, the thing they're saying is, oh, you're the freest person here. You're like, you know what I'm saying? It's like different. It's not like, oh, you're the best dancer I've ever seen. No, it's that la, 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 dance, 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 in a 1 foot radius, right? I'm like dancing seriously and standing still, and they're blown away because I'm happy. I'm like just doing it. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care who you are. That's another thing. And I just got to be in flow with myself. And you can think I'm crazy. I don't care. You can think I'm a show off, and I'm not. But you can think that. No, I'm just hearing the music and doing what I do best for myself and my soul. And I love that. Yeah, and
being in flow with myself. That's huge.
Huge. Like I have never gotten so. I'm not even as I was in way better shape then. Of course, younger. A few less wrinkles around the eyes from the sun exposure. I get more compliments today. That's what's crazy, right? And it's the freedom. It's the inner part, the stuff that I've trained so hard for is the inside. And that's what I've always admired about you is this whole, Karen, let's dance. Let's do that. And I'm like, okay, right? And your whole overall attitude. But I believe that's also what has had people say, wait, let's talk to Zach. Because you put yourself out there. You took a risk and say, hey, is there a list I can be on? When you're getting interviewed. You actually did create that. It wasn't luck. You're like, is there something I can do and be involved? And they're like, yeah, I think so. So you were the one who initiated that. And then you forgot about it. And then it didn't work. And it didn't work for the world team, you said, and you're just like, oh, okay, no problem. You didn't like go, oh God, my life's over. You weren't a drama king about it. It sounds like, is that true?
True.
Yeah. And then what? You're doing your life and you're focused on other things and you're making the best of it. You're married, and then the baby. And then here's where the magic happens that you spoke of earlier. The magic is when you least expected it, because no expectations, that's a biggie. It circles back when you least expected it, you get a call. So much, right? So much, in fact, that when you got the call, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Because you're not, like, you're just like, whatevs. Right?
Yeah, I actually asked them if they needed a coach or a mental coach.
Oh, right, because that's your business now. And what'd they say to that?
They're like, no, we have enough coaches.
Oh, my God.
Like, right away.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious, right? So you put yourself out there again. They're like, no, you're okay with the no. They're like, no, man, we need a freaking top A player shortstop, dude, right? That's what they're looking for.
We need a guy.
Yeah, we need a guy to play shortstop. But you also said, I love veteran leadership. That's what it takes to withstand this Olympic level, right? Playing.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that's what they kind of were after, was a group of guys, like a small group of guys that could help with the veteran leadership. So I didn't realize that until kind of the conversation continued. Mm-hmm. But at first, I just thought they just needed a player. And then, come to find out as the process kept going, it was like, oh, they need a few handful of guys to like lead this team. Yeah, because that's what it takes. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what it takes. You need that core group of guys to do that. And it's like even if you don't have the core group, it's like your thoughts. You need that core group of thoughts in your head that keep leading the other thoughts, because you're going to have people that aren't going to perform. You're going to have people that are just struggling at that moment. Mm-hmm. And even the veteran leadership sometimes needs a little pick me up, but it has to be learned from somebody. So like, that's been passed down from a lot of people that I played with in Fargo, guys like Steve Mortimer and Carlo Coda and Nick Jackson. And, even one of my good friends, Mike Coles, is like this core. There's always a core group of guys on a great team. So, like, that's what it takes, is that good leadership. And what I developed from, well, I didn't develop, but what I learned from my manager in Fargo was like, lead yourselves, like lead from within.
Yes.
And so we do have a manager, but at the same time, it's like we have to lead ourselves. We're the ones playing the game. The manager's standing there, and he's making sure that we all come together as a team. But really, in the game, we need to lead ourselves. We need to come together and lead from within. If there's a guy who's performing, he can't just be like, I'm performing and that's it. Like, come follow me.
Yeah. Well,
there is some of that to an extent. I mean, I know there's a couple guys on our team that have played in the major leagues, and they will say, like, it took a little bit of luck to get there. There's guys up there that are like that. I'm going to perform. Everybody just follow what I do, and that's kind of it's similar. I mean, they're leading by example, and they're just kind of bringing guys with them. So there's a little bit of that, but for the most part, I mean, good teams. We definitely weren't the best. Team Israel's not the best, most talented team in that Germany-Italy tournaments, but we just found a way. We found a way to do it, come together, and we all had the same vision of playing in Tokyo, man. Like, a lot of guys that didn't make it, a lot of guys that are still playing, that continuing that dream.
Yeah.
And really just being like, man, I get a chance to play in the Olympics, even though my career really didn't go the way it wanted to, and now I get a chance to play in the Olympics. Let's do this.
Exactly. Oh my God. Okay, so there's so much to be said about wisdom at a certain point, because you train so early on. It's the 90-10 rule. 90% mental, 10% physical. I got that from Dr. Donna, a friend of mine who is a psychotherapist, and she actually was a psychotherapist to the NFL, the Giants, New York Giants, way back. And that's, what she says. I've heard it, but to hear it from her, right, at a certain point, I do believe, because that's what they're asking for, that's what it takes at this level, is the wisdom and the maturity and the no egos, Would you say that that's what you're seeing, is that there's
totally no egos,
no ego, and that comes with wisdom, doesn't it? And maturity, is letting go of that ego. I think, good.
Just real quick with the ego, I think it's the no ego, but also there's ego that drives us a little bit. Mm-hmm. It kind of feeds our fire a little bit, and so it's almost with the wisdom. It's the timing of the ego. Sometimes you got to bring it out to outperform your competitor. Yeah. But also you have to kind of put it away when it comes to, being that teammate or being somebody that has to lead others. So there's like a time and a place to bring that ego out in order to fuel your fire. Mm-hmm. But you also have to stash it away to be that great person to help others as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. I'm not a big ego person, but I know what you're saying. For me, I wouldn't say it's so much about an ego, but it's that inner fight for self. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's
confidence or something.
Yeah. It's that, like, freaking come heck or high water, I'm doing this for myself. I've trained this
flowing with yourself.
Yeah. And so it might be perceived as ego, but it's surely the wisdom and experience, I got to say. I mean, I can only speak for myself, too.
Definitely.
And still because I'm still a professional dancer today. And that's just my side gig. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
Yeah, right? Professional just means I'm paid. And I still get paid. And I get to perform and do good, though, with a purpose. But I totally know what it is to stop playing after my sister died. And I wasn't dancing at all for at least 7 years, if not 8. And to come back and dance again and be better in my spirit is the key, right? From within, the leadership within, as you speak of, it just radiates out into every area of life, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to just quickly talk about, we're talking about passion, right? This persistence, like beyond belief persistence, something kicks in. Like for sure you exude this passion and commitment. That if you don't have that, there's nothing as far as I'm concerned, right? But, and then we have the paying the dues. But Zach, like a time in your baseball career where you kind of lost the fire. Can you go back and like there was a breakdown of losing that passion or commitment? You know?
Yeah, it was a couple years before I retired. It was just kind of a feeling of, and you talk about it with the death of your sister, of like this broken heart. Like I felt like baseball broke my heart. Like I put so much time and effort and love into this game, and I had this expectation of where I was going to be, which was the major leagues. And when I didn't reach that, I felt like it was the game breaking my heart. When really, I mean, it gave me everything. It still today is giving me so much. Like this, it just keeps pulling me back. And it was like a denial of like, you know, I don't like baseball. It broke my heart. And I actually wrote something. I posted something on Facebook about this exact thing about, you know, it'll break your heart, but it's still like my one true love, and it still gives me everything. It gives me my relationships that I have today. It's created so many friendships, not only with teammates, but with managers and with fans. And it's deepened my relationship with my family. And it's I get to coach baseball with my brother now and my dad, and so I felt like it broke my heart. It was about 2013 when I realized I would say, I don't even know how I could describe it like this anymore, but back then I described it as falling out of love with baseball. Like I kind of knew it wasn't for me anymore. And yet it just keeps showing up again and again in my life. So I don't know. It's just like these moments in our lives where we get brokenhearted. We get something that kind of stabs us, and we feel like we get stabbed in the back. And really, that's just the challenge that we got to overcome. That we have to realize that this is like part of it. This is all part of like that life challenge to bring us prosperity from wherever we're at in our life. So that I honestly don't think that you can really get prosperity without heartache and heartbreak, because I mean, what's the fun in having that good luck everybody talks about, where stuff's just given to you? Like, it doesn't feel the same. It's not, there's no passion there. It's just like, oh, here you go. Here's you never worked for this, but here it is. And it's not as meaningful when you've just freaking busted your ass and gone through all that. Like, I remember Nadia, you know Nadia, and Nadia had given me this, she gave me this crystal one time. We were sitting on the beach, and she said, here's some citrine, check it out. And I was like, oh, cool, this is awesome. She's like, look into the cracks, and like all the cracks and the broken pieces, there was a rainbow in every single one of them. And so in the cracks, she's like, that's like your life. Like, you think that you're broken when really that's where the rainbow exists.
Wow.
So like, yeah, that was kind of like, wow. I felt like baseball had totally taken my energy and my life and broke my heart completely, when really it's still giving me like my life today. It's still giving me so much, and it's still giving me that ability to just oh, there's an opportunity. Cool, thanks. You know? So it's still giving me all the prosperity, even though I was denying it for so long. So I would have to say that's the only really thing that I'm lucky, is the fact that like baseball was just in my life, and that was something that was just given to me when I was younger. I think the thing is, though, is that when you really want to go from luck to prosperity, you have to like take it by the horns, and you have to be like, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to take this risk and go after it and turn it from luck to prosperity. Maybe that's the difference. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe so. And is it luck? I don't know, but it could be.
No.
Yeah. I mean, right. I don't see it as luck, but I do believe in like the divine spiritual, aspect. So it could be, but we could call it luck or good fortune. Well, you took an opportunity of baseball. You had the opportunity to play as a kid, as a 5-year-old, and then you took the ball, haha, no pun, and ran with it. Isn't that true? And then you could say is good fortune that you, through your efforts, right, and paying your dues and showing up and practicing and practicing and practicing, now I hear you're reaping the rewards. Wait, I want to talk about this broken heart. That was genius right there. So a couple years before you retire, so you had the intention to do independent baseball because you still could have made a Major League Baseball team, so to speak, right? I mean, independent baseball players can still try out for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, most of the time baseball players, they get released from an affiliated team and they go play independent baseball to continue playing and try to get picked up. So there's actually I don't know the exact number, but there's something like 50 or 60 guys that played in independent baseball that played in the major leagues this year.
This year? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you continue to play. But there's a point where you kind of realize like, all right, I don't really have a chance. They're not going to take a guy like me because of my age, the level I've played at. And so you're just not in that pool anymore where people are looking at you to pick you up. But that's really the main reason why people continue to play, either for the love or they're trying to get picked up.
Right, but you were trying to get picked up. So can we say around 2013 that when you realized you weren't getting picked up was the heartbreak?
Yeah, when I kind of realized oh shit, man, like this is it. Even though, man, I'm a superstar in Fargo. I'm like I can go back and be the mayor, So like I feel like, I didn't really make it to my dream, but I mean, I kind of did. Like I was a mini celebrity, and I had amazing experiences, and I went way farther than I even dreamed of. I mean, I dreamt of playing in Dodger Stadium, but I never had these mini dreams of being a mini celebrity in a town called Fargo, North Dakota, and like being recognized in bars and
on the street.
And on the street. Yeah, I guess I can't just say bars, but restaurants and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I did realize there was something that hit me and said, your dream is kind of over. Like your ultimate dream of playing the big leagues it's not gonna happen. And that's when it hit me and kind of broke my heart. And I was like, man, this sucks. Blah, 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 blah. I started getting like focused on the negatives of it all. And I kept going back, and I had a roommate my last year, Joe Dunnigan, who I did a podcast with. We did Life on Pandora talking about, our mindset. And he kind of lifted me up. He just like brought me to the gym every day for like a couple weeks and was just like, man, you're here. Like, let's dominate. Let's have a good summer. And he just kept like throwing positivity in my bowl, and I kept stirring it up with the negativity, and slowly but surely it was just out came one of my best seasons. And I was like, I'm done. Thanks, Joe. Like, you picked me up, you lifted my spirits, and I realized that like baseball is amazing. And I was depressed for a little bit. For a couple of years, I wouldn't say I was completely depressed for a couple of years, but I did realize, like, man, I don't want to play baseball anymore. But I felt like it was the only thing I knew how to do.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I totally can relate to that.
I think many people can. I mean, it's that feeling of getting stuck. Like, I'm stuck in this job. I'm comfortable. I know how to do this very well. Why would I try to pick up something else that I'd have no idea how to do? So many human beings on planet Earth, we get stuck in this thing, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, you got to take risk and do something to change it up, to create that prosperity, that good luck, that good fortune in your life.
Yeah, but that's very encouraging to hear and very inspiring. That moment, the heartbreak, and this is not just
heartbreak.
Yeah, the heartbreak of losing my sister, the heartbreak of losing the love of my life. I thought the only one man I thought I'd ever marry. That broke my heart. But then one really wise person that I hired to help me, she's more of a spiritual guide. She said, I'll never forget this, yet you see it as your heart being broken. And we also can look at it as the opportunity to expand and open your heart. And I'll never forget that.
Oh wow. That's so cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like breaking, but you can like add little pieces in there as you're having like open heart surgery almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it a broken heart, or did it bring me to that breaking point to expand it and open it even greater? And I was like,
an expanded heart. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, because it did. In retrospect, thank God I never married him. That would have been a disaster. Okay. And then, but it gave me the ability to look back in retrospect and go, wow, I had that opportunity. I can only imagine what it's going to be like with the one that I'm supposed to be with, my soulmate. You know what I'm saying? But it took, it almost killed me, not going to lie. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. And he proposed, so it looked like we were going in that direction of marriage, but it's the same as baseball and dancing and my sister and horses and life and career and the big break in show business. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. Major League Baseball that's what I'm hearing, Zach, is that, it broke your heart at that time, but in retrospect, it expanded it because now look where you are.
Totally expanded it. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. And now you have an opportunity, again, Dodger Stadium, no big deal when you're playing on the world stage. It's all perspective, isn't it now? It's all how we, look at it. And to me, this seems even greater, but that's just me. I don't know. But to play in what? Bulgaria, you said Italy, Germany, and what was the other country? Germany, Italy, Lithuania. Oh my God, Lithuania, and then you get to go to Tokyo. And you told, like, how many people will be watching the Olympics worldwide, and then all the people traveling to the Olympics, right, to watch in person, is way better and bigger than we could ever imagine. Like, who knew? But the one thing we can say is you were still involved in baseball, so it broke your heart at that time for that dream. But you never left the game of baseball, right? Exactly.
I was coaching. I was coaching and staying around the game, for sure.
Yeah. And so then look at the magic that came through because of that. And that then we can tie to your commitment and passion for the game. Otherwise, you would have for sure left if the passion had really died. Isn't that true?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super passionate about baseball, and what I realized is I'm super knowledgeable, I got that wisdom that
exactly.
It's a humble brag, I guess you could say, but not really. Like, I'm a badass.
Totally. Like, seriously, badass. I mean, you could wear the cap and we'd be like, oh my God, Fanny Pack Zach is a badass. And that is so true. All right, let's just quickly talk statistics. How many teams in all these countries, because this is so impressive, how many teams did you play? How many teams try to get to the Olympics? Give us that rundown.
Oh, man, hang with me for a second. I would say in Bulgaria, we played against 5 other teams. See if I can name them all.
Okay.
Greece, Ireland, Russia, Bulgaria, and Serbia. They were there in Bulgaria,
oh my God.
Which was a beautiful place. Great food, real cheap, great people that don't speak any English, but really cool. And then Lithuania, we were only there for a couple games, and we just played Lithuania. It was a best-of-3 series, and we beat them in 2 games. Mm-hmm. We played in the middle of a horse track. So, like, it was...
No way.
Yeah, so, like, in the infield on the horse track, there was an old baseball field that hadn't been used for a few years, and they kind of revamped it for the 2 games. Interestingly enough, the Lithuanian announcer was actually describing the game as we were playing it. So it's not a very popular sport in Lithuania. They do have a team.
Wow. And
they did have a few good players. I think they have a couple players in the minor leagues. But he was like describing what was going on to because some of the fans had no idea what was going on. So as we're playing, he's saying in Lithuanian like how the game is played and what it means, what a strike means, what it means, to get a base hit and
Oh
stuff like
my
that.
God,
So
I'm getting chills.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we, when we qualified to go to the European Championships, which was in Germany, that gave us like another 4 weeks to prepare again. And then so we all met in Germany again. And there we played against, it was 12 teams, it was a 12-team tournament for the European Championships, which is played every 2 years. And the top 5 teams from that go on to Italy, which is the Olympic qualifier. So in Germany, there was Germany, Belgium, France, Great Britain, Sweden, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, that's only 8 teams I'm naming there. So there was 3 other teams I can't think of right now. And
they're probably little countries.
Yeah, and so then actually Netherlands ended up winning that tournament. We came in 4th, so the top 5 teams, which was Italy, Netherlands, Spain, us, and Czech Republic. Oh, Czech Republic was in Germany too.
Okay.
And then South Africa came from the African championship, so it was those 5 teams in South Africa. We beat Spain, Italy, and Netherlands, are teams that we lost to in Germany. So we lost to them in Germany, but we beat them in Italy where it mattered. We lost to Czech Republic, and then when we beat South Africa in our 5th game, that's when we celebrated and realized that had qualified for the Olympics. So it was the first time ever that Israel had even made it to the European Championships, and then obviously the first time they made it to Olympic qualifier, and then the first team sport from Israel to make it to the Olympics since like 1974 or something like that.
Oh my God.
So big time history going on. Wow. And like, wow, what an experience. I mean, I can't even describe it. It's like, it's such an it's the most exciting team I've played on. I mean,
I know.
It's not the best. It's not like the most talented. It's not, we're not the winningest team I've ever played on. It's not a team full of guys that just know how to win. It's like, well, that it is what it is. Actually, we know how to win, obviously, but like, it's the most exciting team. Like, every game we played was exciting. Even when we were losing, the game was exciting. Like, it was just the team chemistry, the aspect of everybody for one goal.
Yep.
And we were playing for not just like the country of Israel, but like all the Jewish people around the world.
Exactly.
Like, everybody has this connection. And so it was a people. We were playing for a people. We weren't playing for a town or a team.
Exactly.
Bingo.
We were
playing for a whole group of people. And like, wow, it's still indescribable. It still hasn't really hit me yet. I don't think it's really going to hit me until I walk into the opening ceremonies. I don't know.
Oh my God, I want to cry right now.
I'm kind of just numb. So
yeah.
God. I guess the next step is they're just finalizing the roster, and then we kind of just like, people ask me all the time, like, so do you guys practice as a team? And we don't practice as a team. Like, we all have to stay in shape on our own. This is like what it takes to be an Olympian. Like, you stay in shape on your own.
Yep.
Some guys are going to go play for teams in like independent leagues or even in the minor leagues, and they're going to stay in shape. And then sometime in July, we'll probably meet up and get together as a team and get ready for a couple weeks before we go to Tokyo. So that's kind of the plan that I'm guessing we're going to do. I don't even know. So once they finalize the roster and they come up with a schedule for us, then I can give you more information on that. But for right now, we're just kind of like enjoying and just I'm loving the fact that we qualify for the Olympics. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, all these countries, it's just like blowing my mind. And then Lithuania, this is so touching. People were watching the game and they didn't even know what they were watching, but they were there watching, right?
Yeah, there was like 1,500 people there probably.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if this brings the world together, that's what this is about, unity, isn't it? Yeah. Unity, humanity. Yeah. And I mean, Sweden, Netherlands, Spain, South Africa, Czech Republic. Belgium. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? Like, my head is about to explode in joy for you, Zach. And I'm just like so honored to be having this podcast conversation, in terms of, because I'm all about global peace and humanity, and we're all one, like, really. And what it takes to bring us together with no war, no guns, no killing 18-year-olds. I mean, sending people to war. Why can't everyone just be freaking, instead of having the men freaking go and kill each other with guns and a few women, why can't you all be playing baseball? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just runs deep.
My brother always says, me and him have this big belief that, like, sports, not only sports, but like baseball specifically, can really bring so many people together. They can turn boys into men. They can bring a whole community together. They can bring the world together. And it's funny you say unity, because did you know the Star of David, also known as the Seal of Solomon, it actually means unity. Like, it's not necessarily just a representative of the country Israel.
Right.
The Star of David actually represents unity.
Yes. And then,
so, like, that's funny that you say that, because that's what it means, but not everybody knows that. Everybody just thinks, oh, it's a Star of David, you must be Jewish. It's like, no, like, it means unity. And yes, it does represent the country of Israel and the Jewish people. And also at the same time, it just means unity.
Yes. And I mean, I love saying it just levels the playing field. And then we're talking, I mean, there's so many aspects here that it's so profound and beyond, it's so much bigger, if we really dig deep. And you know me, I'm very deep in that way. But I mean, when you're listing all these countries, Zach, I mean, come on. A dream come true, opportunity of a lifetime, yes? To play in all these different countries, to meet other people with different cultures and food, like you're talking about. Otherwise, you'd be here in the U.S., like, right? But now you're just traveling the world. Unbelievable. So super exciting. Okay, we're about to wrap it up here. Right, you're going to go to Tokyo. I mean, when you talk about the opening ceremony, I just want to bawl my eyes out right now in joy. Like, oh my God, I'm blown away. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. So, you and I hadn't talked in a long time, and I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing, you're changing diapers and burping a baby. And then out of the blue, when I least expected, I get the text from you, and I'm like, oh, did he send out a group text? I was just wondering, you just happened to text me with the information. Thank God, because I'm not on social media. I can't even keep up with myself. I was just wondering, did you just like randomly text me, or was it a group text, or what was happening?
No, I text you just one-on-one, Karen.
Okay.
I think we have so many thoughts as humans, and for me, it's thoughts of people and how people are doing, or, deep connections that I've had in the past, and kind of like I lose track of, like you said, you just lose track of yourself. You can't keep up with everybody on Facebook. And so for me, like, even on Facebook, when something pops up, it says, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday today. If I have their phone number, I'm going to text them. I'm going to call them. I'm not going to, like, post it on Facebook. It's like, it's a deeper connection for me. So, right. and then now, or even before Facebook, I have names pop up in my brain. And it's like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. And so I'll just send them a text. Like, it's that easy. Like, we have stuff at our fingertips that we're not using. And so it was just a text to you, Karen. I know that, like, your brain, your name popped in my brain, and so I was just like, I'm gonna let Karen know that I'm Olympian and see how she's doing. So,
yeah. Well, it's kind of like a backwards brag, but I was so blown away, and I'm so glad you did, because if you hadn't, we wouldn't even be here. But this brings up such excitement for me. For you, like, I get to live vicariously through all the excitement that you speak of, and but I'm just so happy you did text me, like, the power of just reaching out. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I love reaching out, and it's just a conversation starter. Yeah. You said it's a humble brag, but it's just like a conversation starter. And sometimes I don't even have anything to talk about. I just say, hey, Karen, I hope you're doing well. But this time, I know you enjoy the excitement of
The Olympics. Oh my God.
Maximum performance.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So then I was like, wait, did he make a mistake? Did he mean me? Because you didn't say, hey, Garrett, I'm like, did he mean? And then I call you right away, right? I call you right away. We got to do a podcast. Oh my God. But I just want to re-presence that you are like, at that time, because it was like early on, you're like, yeah, I'm not so sure. And I said the same thing as Sheena. I want to, I'm bragging about, humble brag here. I'm like, are you insane? You gotta do this, like so on board. I was so like electrified by this opportunity for you,
Oh, are you talking about before, like the opportunity, like at the beginning of the opportunity?
Yeah. Like you had said, we were talking because I called you right away. And I'm like, I
remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I'm not so sure. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I just want to like smack. I know.
I was crazy at that time.
I wanted to take one of those styrofoam puffy bats and go, what? Boop, 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 on your head, and mess up your hair. Are you crazy? And now that we're having this conversation, wow, I mean, it's even better. I just want to be there, like, in Greece and Ireland and Russia, Serbia. I mean, and to think that I'm like, they play baseball in Serbia? Really? Right? Like you just think on a deeper level. So I'm just, that's all this to say how honored I am, to know you and this is so inspiring for me personally because there's so many different aspects here. It's not just like, oh, Zach is lucky and he, gets to play in the Olympics. No way. From top to bottom, you have earned every nanosecond of this. Isn't that true? You have over and over again paid your dues and have never like wavered or stayed comfortable in your life. Would you agree?
No, even when I was on the team in the hotels, I was like, hey guys, I do mental skills. So if you guys want to do a guided visualization, let's do it. And we're like in the hallway there's people laying on the ground in the hallway and I'm doing a guided visualization. So I was even when I was comfortably on the team, I was like, I got to push myself even more. I got to do my mental skills stuff as well and become a mindset coach to Olympians. So I was still continuously pushing myself outside my comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how you and I met. So I just want to bring it back to that is it really is at a certain point, seriously more of a mental game. Of course the passion's there, it's a given, but that's what it takes. And I love hearing everything that you're saying, in terms of the possibility of it's, like are any of us, am I going to make the Olympic dance team? I don't think so. But doesn't mean I can't have that mindset of an Olympian and keep dancing until I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? And have my own Olympics in my heart and my mind. And that's what we really want to get for all the listeners is it doesn't mean you got to play an Olympic team, but you can certainly have the same experience in your own way on an Olympic level, so to speak. Yes?
Yeah, champions are champions before they're champions.
Exactly. So last words of wisdom. I mean, everything we talked about, what do you want to leave the listeners with and even me? Yeehaw!
I think I'm just gonna take risks. I think that's really what it comes down to is it's just taking those chances and taking an opportunity and just committing to it and going with it. So like taking that risk, but like, I mean, for me, the way I stay uncomfortable and take risk is by being what people would say weird. I had someone give me a huge compliment the other day. They said, man, you're the weirdest. And I was like, that's like the best compliment I've ever heard.
Yep.
Because I just know it was just something, what I was doing is I had one of those like hand fans, one of those, and I was like fanning myself. And they're like, what the heck? You're the weirdest. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I'm going for. Like, I'm just constantly doing strange things. And I mean, that's just a little petty thing, but there's other things where I'm just jumping into taking risks, taking opportunity. And so just continue to take risks because that's where the luck happens. Like without risk, there's no reward, as the famous saying goes. So continue to take risks, go outside your comfort zone, and just commit fully to whatever you're risking. So that would be my last kind of thing to say to people.
Yeah.
If you want to create your own luck, man, you gotta take risks.
Right, and never stop. Right?
Never stop. Be persistent.
Yep. And never stop. So the last thing I'm going to say, back when you're like, you know, your heart was broken, you had a friend who kept saying, come on, let's do this. Can you think now, thinking back, was there one thing that tipped you over, you know, that tipping point that had you like get your head and heart back into the game when you were going through that depressed, you know, the mild depression and your heart was broken?
Yeah, it was the showing up. So like you said, it was like I was showing up for myself, and that's what it was. Like I was already there. I was already in Fargo. I had already committed to playing for the summer, and I was 2 weeks in, and I was already feeling depressed. Like, what the hell? I made the wrong decision. Why am I here? Blah, 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 blah. And really, when my roommate kept kind of pushing me, I just told myself, like, okay, I'm already here. I still have 4 more months to go. So just like do your best. Like just show up as your best all the time, because that's what you're here for. You already signed up for it. So stop feeling bad for yourself. Pick yourself up and freaking go out there and do what you know how to do. So that's what it was. It was like, I'm already here. Just continue to show up. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to quit. So just do it. So that was kind of the turning point for me, was like, I showed up, I was there, I was committed. Hey, you're in. So do it.
Yeah. Right. And so the prosperity also of like-minded, like-energied teammates. And it doesn't mean you have to be on a team with someone, but the people in our life, right? The ones that are rooting for us, and that, you know, when we're down, they're there, and vice versa. Yes? It was that.
Totally.
Yeah, it was Joe, your friend, you said, that was like, hey, man, let's do this. And that support, because we need to hang around that same mind and heart set to keep us going. Would you agree? Like that type of prosperity as well.
Yeah, and totally. I got lucky with my roommate, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we don't believe in luck. Come on.
You know, I got a joke about it.
I know, right? You know, I'm just so lucky, you know. No, is that who you are? It attracts that. So it's about the brains picking up the vibration of other brains and people we attract in our lives, you know. That's another whole conversation, but we want to say, yeah, you could call it luck, but I also believe in the deeper subconscious phenomenon and the law of attraction, blop, blop, you know. And that's where maybe, yeah.
Blop, blop.
Blop, blop, yada, yada, you know. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing everything. Congratulations again. This is so super exciting. And I think we'll have you back on again if you'd like, you know, as you're getting closer, your training, what that looks like. I love that all of you can come together, you know, and play this game and represent a country and play with other people in the world. And that's where I say, I'll leave us all with this, the paying of the dues for all, because these are all the guys playing for all those years, plus the experience, plus the wisdom, plus the breakdowns, plus the breakthroughs, right, Zach?
Yeah.
The heartbreak, and then the heart opening and expanding. Because didn't you say one of the oldest guy on the team is what, 41?
Yeah, he's 41. He'll be, by the time Olympus comes around, he'll be 42, yeah.
So, and he's a starter. Right?
No, he's really just the face of Israel baseball. I mean, he's a legend. He's been on the Israel national team for 30 years.
Oh,
and
my
so,
God.
like, he started playing when he was, you know, on the national team when he was 10. And so he's one of a handful of guys his age that kind of have sort of built, you know, Israel baseball.
Oh my God.
There's the presidents and the people that kind of put all that together. Mm-hmm. But as players, it's like him and a group of guys his age that have been on the team for so many years that have just put in their dues to build exactly what Israel baseball is today. So his name is Shlomo Lipitz, and he's a legend in Israel, and it's pretty cool to see that guy just. He is the leader on the team, and everybody rallies around him, and he may only pitch one inning in the Olympics, but like that's what it takes. Is like he's paid his dues since he was 10, so everybody follows that guy. Everybody is that guy. So yeah, he's gonna be 42 by the time Olympics rolls around. Yeah,
and he's a pitcher. To have that sustainability, come on, and one inning, hey, this is step on Tokyo, right? And step on the little field and pick up a gum wrapper. I'm in.
Yeah.
You know?
An Olympian.
Yeah. Incredible. Okay. So, Zach, this is so awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm just really proud of you. And this is super exciting. You know, keep me posted. I want to watch. I guess I can watch online. We can. Oh, yeah. How do we watch? What do we do?
I don't know yet. Honestly, Karen, I have no idea. I don't even know if anybody knows yet. And, like, the schedule is kind of like, it's out, but nobody really knows where, like, they place in the schedule. So I think more information will come out, like, in the new year.
Okay.
So everyone just got to wait until then, even us.
Yeah, and I love, oh, God, I could just go on for hours, but I'll say this. I just love that you have to self-generate. You have to be self-motivated, and that you got to train on your own and then come together with an Olympic mindset.
It's not easy.
No, it is not, right? And this is why we do what we do, because it really is about keeping your head in the game, isn't it? And then showing up and practicing and running at 5 a.m, blah, blah. So congratulations. You deserve it. God, way to pay your dues, and I'm just super excited. So what, do I get like a little Olympic finger, you know, the little foam finger, or what do we do? You got to make your own line of fanny packs. Fanny pack, Zach, Olympics, you know, something, right?
I have to hit up Nike and say, look, we need to come out with the Olympic special. The fanny pack Zach Olympic special.
Oh my God. Exactly. How exciting. Okay. We'll do another, cause there's still more, and I know you got to go, and
we could talk for hours.
I know we could talk for hours, cause I'm so excited, but we're going to get into the other part. It's the passion part, but we'll do a part 2 because of what it takes just to show up and raise all the money, and we'll do that next time. Would that be cool? Can we do that?
Definitely.
All right, awesome. All right, thank you all for listening. Zach Penprase, Penprase.
Yes.
Zach, and then on Facebook, right?
Facebook and Instagram. Mostly on Instagram is just Penprase6. That's where I'll probably, if somebody really wants to get a hold of me.
Okay. Yeah, and follow you and watch this. Yes.
Keep up with all sorts of stuff. There's even videos of our last tournaments and stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to follow you on Instagram. God, I have to hire somebody to do my social media. I can't even keep up.
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot to follow.
I know. But I'm going to post it too. When I post the podcast, I'll post some of those videos. So that's how we find you, and we're following you. And man, I'm like your greatest fan here, because this is like a dream come true out of nowhere. Right?
Out of nowhere.
It's out of nowhere, but it isn't out of nowhere. It's all the years that you have paid your dues to have this dream come true out of nowhere, right? So that would be the last thing. So anyway, thanks for listening. Zach, you're amazing, so inspirational, and we'll have you back on soon. And I don't know, what do you say to someone who's going to the Olympics? Bring home gold! Oh, wait. So you told me how many teams qualify for the Olympics? Just 6.
6. So we have a 50% chance of getting a medal, yes.
Oh, my God. So just 6 teams will play for Olympic gold?
6 teams, yes.
Oh, my God. Okay. So we'll pick it up from there. That is super exciting. 50% chance. Any medal. Of course, you want gold, silver, bronze, but come on. This is like, ridiculous. All right. I've spoken. Thank you, Zach. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay. Bye, y'all.